That's right, everybody. The roll of tape is back, and we have actually a big week this week. One RTS, which we'll start off with, to Brandon Crawford. I think I found that address on either Sports Card Forum or some sort of a Google search, but as you can see, this one on Ironwood Drive in Scottsdale is not a good one, so if you have that one, do not send. But coming up is the first of 8 that we got back. So we're going to start number 1. We're going to pull out the card. We're going to show the card, and it is a signed Jim Hart for, at the time, I believe would be the St. Louis Cardinals. Yes, St. Louis in the 70s and 80s. But as you can see there, number 1, I sent it January the 17th, came back on the 31st. Very fast, 14-day turnaround. The address was off Sports Card Forum, and it was a free return. That was the address in Naples, Florida, that's on there. And what was this? I looked earlier, but I cannot remember. It was 81 tops. Actually, quite a beautiful signature. Very good long career. Came in undrafted in 66. Played until 1984. So what would that be? 66 to 84. Well, a long time. What's that? 18 years? 1960. That's a long time. But 86 and 66 through 83 played with the Cardinals. Finished his career in Washington with the Redskins. Went to 4 consecutive Pro Bowls. Was the NFC Offensive Player of the Year in 1974 and won at the time, it was the Byron Whizzer White, NFL Man of the Year Award in 1975, and is a member of the Arizona Cardinals Ring of Honor. 209 career touchdowns, 34,665 passing yards, and a very creepy 66.6 career passer rating. But that's starting us off really well, and there's actually quite a lot of interesting looking things coming up, so bear with me. Let me pause and reset, and we'll get to the next one. All right, number 2, as we can see here, came from former defensive lineman, he was a nose tackle, Greg Kragen. Sent on November the 22nd, came back February the 2nd, 72-day turnaround. It was a P.O. box in San Carlos, California, that I found on Sports Card Forum, and it was a free return. And interestingly, not only did he sign the 1990 Fleer, very nice looking in blue, matches with the Broncos, but also answered a question. And I always try to ask him something interesting. And Mr. Kragen was part of the inaugural Carolina Panthers roster in 1995, which would have been his 11th season in the NFL. He was taken in the expansion draft, played his last 3 years there, started off in Denver from 85 to 93. And I asked him, what was it like to play, for, in basically a new market? And he actually wrote a reply. He says, "Was not sure I wanted to go to a new team Expansion teams had not done well in the past. Ended up having a great time with the Panthers. Loved the organization and the players. Great way to finish playing. Thanks for asking." Well, Mr. Kragen, thank you for answering. Just a quick synopsis of his career. 2-time first-team All-Pro, second-team All-Pro, went to the Pro Bowl in 1989. 28 and a half sacks, which people are going to think isn't a whole lot, but for his position, you're not supposed to get a lot of sacks. He was a nose tackle. Your job is to stuff the run, but he ended up at 28 and a half, 1 interception, and played in 200 career games. And I love it when I get more information, and actually there's another one of those coming up, so hang on one second. Mr. Kragen, thank you much. That's number 2, and let's go on to number 3. From the gridiron, we go to the baseball diamond, and this one came back just with my letter as a protection. But we have a nice vintage Jim Colborn for the Chicago Cubs. That is in 1971. Here you go. Here's the information. Sent it on January the 24th, came back February the 3rd. 10-day turnaround, very fast. The address was off Sports Card Forum, and it was an address in Ventura, California, if you're looking for it. It was a free return. Thank you very much, Mr. Colborn. And I do like sending the ones with signatures already on there because you can kind of compare, and his signature still looks good. Looking over career, just brief little synopsis. 83 and 88 record as a pitcher, a 3.8 ERA, 688 strikeouts. Career went from 1969 to 1978 with the Cubs until 71, the Brewers until 76, the Royals until 78, and finished off 78 in Seattle. Shout out Cash and Dad. Was named an All-Star in 1973. He's a member of the Milwaukee Brewers Hall of Honor. And March 14th, 1977, pitched a no-hitter. And I love to collect guys that have pitched no-hitters, perfect games, hit for the cycle, interesting things like that. So Mr. Colborn, Colborn is a no-hitter, and thank you so much. Really surprised these cards still exist in as good a shape as they are. It's not in great shape, as you can see, but it's 1971, so that unfortunately is what it is, but I am excited, and we've been rolling. This next one, ladies and gentlemen, though, this next one's a big one, so hang on 1 second. Now, this one we saw, this is number 4, by the way, of 8. We saw earlier in the series, came back as a return to sender because I sent it to the wrong address, so I went back to Sports Card Forum, found out what I did wrong, and instead of sending where I sent the first time, I sent now to an address in Owings Mills, Maryland, and I have received my signed Brooks Robinson on the 2021 Allen and Ginter. You talk about one of the best third basemen to ever come across Major League Baseball. Hall of Fame in 1983, first ballot. Played for the Baltimore Orioles his entire career, 1955 to 1977. 18-time All-Star, won 2 World Series with the Orioles in 66 and 70, AL MVP in 64, World Series MVP in 70, 16, now mind you, 18 consecutive All-Stars, consecutive, in a row. Also, 16 consecutive Gold Glove Awards from 1960 to 1975. Won the Roberto Clemente Award, led the AL in RBIs in 64. The Orioles retired number 5. He is on the Major League All-Century team. And again, Hall of Famer. But, also, I will show this because sent it on January 10th, came back the 3rd of February, 24 days. It is a $10 signing fee for Brooks Robinson, 100% worth it. And also because, let me see if I can, no, I'm going to get this up. He included a Hall of Fame card that was also signed, double the awesome, and like I say, one of the best players of the era, hands down. And it's awesome to get his signature twice over in the collection. So Mr. Robinson, a.k.a. the Human Vacuum Cleaner, also gets a nod to the all-name team, and I do like doing that as well. But we're at the halfway point, and there's still so much more. If you're still with me, thank you, but why? Hang on, let's go on to number 5. Next up, number 5, back to the gridiron we go. We're going back old school. We're talking AFL time. Pete Banaszak played for the Oakland Raiders in both the AFL and the NFL. Sent it on the 24th. Came back on the 4th, 11-day turnaround, an address on Sports Card Forum. It was free, and it was on, actually, it's on the back of one of these Super Bowl tickets they did in 90. This was when the Raiders beat the Vikings in Super Bowl 11. And on the back, signed it for me, Zach, best wishes from the Raiders. That's not something you hear often. Pete Banaszak, number 40. Let's see. Running back came in the 5th round of the 66th AFL draft. Mind you, American Football League was a thing, and they merged not long after. Part of the Raiders that won the AFL championship in 67, and again there, Super Bowl champion in Super Bowl 11, and he was the co-leader of rushing touchdowns in 1975. His entire career ran from 1966 to 1978, so part of the old school original Raiders, a Super Bowl winner, an AFL championship winner, and if you're a Raiders fan, a name that you know very well. So, Mr. Banaszak, thank you so much. And I love these, and I always put a little note on the other side just so I remember who it was. But that is number 5. Coming up, more baseball. Stick with me. And not only is it another baseball, it's another old school baseball, but it comes with some more information. This is number 6, Dick Bosman, sent it on January the 24th, came back the 4th, 11-day turnaround, a sports card forum address, signed for free, and also signed the 1971 Topps when he was with the Washington Senators, before they moved to Texas. And this was, I asked him about moving from Washington down to Texas, and I got a reply. So here you go. Frank Howard and I were very upset about the move. So speaking of the moving from Washington to Texas, which would have been, I think, in I don't remember what year. I honestly don't. Either way, it happened sometime between 66 and 73. Then he went on to play for Cleveland from 73 to 75, finished off his career in Oakland in 76. But we had many contacts in business in the D.C. area. What can we do? We had to go and make the best of it, as always. As always, good things happened in Texas, too. We still have many friends in Texas. You know what? And that's cool because you don't often think about that when a team has to uproot, and go from one area, and not just like moving stadiums or changing names. I'm talking literally going, halfway around the country. And the Washington Senators, I'm looking it up right now. They moved after the 1971 season. So actually, I think this may have been one of his last Washington Senators cards. And he played with the Texas Rangers for 2 years until 73. An 82 and 85 record, 757 strikeouts, led the AL in ERA in 1969. And once again, on July 19th, 1974, pitched a no-hitter. So another no-hitter for the collection. And I really like old school defunct teams cards. Washington Senators, that's awesome. 2 more. And this time, we're going to basketball. Yes, to the hardwood we go. We got a vintage one sent January the 17th, came back on the 4th of February, 18-day turnaround. Lionel Hollins. And I sent it, I initially wrote Sports Card for him because I'd written so many of them and that's where I'd gotten, but I completely forgot he is actually the assistant coach for the Houston Rockets. So I sent care of the Houston Rockets, and we got back a slightly beat up, but this is how I sent it. It's an older card with the Portland Trail Blazers, and this was 77-78, and he signed it. Lionel Hollins, 77 NBA champs, number 14 retired. I love it when they add stuff like that, and actually that gives a pretty good partial summation of his career. Was a 6th overall pick in 1975, played until 85, played with Portland, then went to Philadelphia for a couple of years, the San Diego Clippers, the Detroit Pistons, ended his career in the Houston Rockets, and immediately picked up his coaching career, has been coaching at various levels, college, minor league, and the NBA since 1985. And like I say, he is now still coaching the Houston Rockets as an assistant. NBA championship in 77. All-Star, defensive first team, defensive second team. Number 14 retired. Number 33 retired by his alma mater, Arizona State, and was an assistant coach for the LA Lakers when they won the championship after the 2020 season. So, two-time NBA champion, beautiful looking signature, very much appreciated. And we have one more, and we're going back to baseball. All right, the final one coming back after a very, very successful week of returns. Another 1971 Topps, this time the old school Montreal Expos. Loved watching them because they were in the Pirates division. To Zach from Mr. Bill Stoneman. The final one, number 8, another fast turnaround. Oh, I actually didn't even write down how many days that was, but give me 1 second. It would be 11 days. No, that's the wrong one. I wrote it down. 20 days. 20 days. Address off Sports Card Forum, another free return, and another part of what I absolutely love. Mr. Stoneman came in 1967, finished his career in 74, had his most profitable time with the Expos from 69 to 73. 54 and 85 record as a pitcher, 934 strikeouts, an all-star in 1972, and pitched not one, but 2 no-hitters. The first, April 17th, 1969 against Philadelphia, and the second, October 2nd, 1972 against the New York Mets. So 2 no-hitters. Absolutely love it. Plus old school Expos, and I'm never going to argue with that. So that is going to wrap up the TTM week, and wow, this was a good one. There was a lot of stuff happening, and I'm really thankful. So hopefully this helped out anybody that's looking to send to any of these people. Links to everything, or information, not links to anything, information down below. And hope all is well. We'll see you tomorrow.